Quite a lot of you asked for a chronological recap of my one-day solo trip to Paris, and so here it is. My train left at 8 AM, so I got to St Pancras for 7 and had an authentic French croissant to get me in the mood for France. And because this is a Eurostar, you can take drinks through security. Look how cute this cup holder is for my flat white. We started boarding the train at about 7:30, and I ended up having the most interesting 2.5-hour conversation with the lady sat next to me, and we're still in touch now.
Just arrived. First stop, we're gonna get some oysters.
This is Plein Mer, and it's about a 12-minute walk from the station. 6 oysters cost €12, and this is just an amuse-bouche for lunch, which was at Bouillon Julien, which was only a 10-minute walk away. I mentioned in the other video how cheap the prices are here, like €3 for a starter, but I do think the quality does suffer slightly for it. Both the garlicky sauce for the snails and the shallot sauce on the steak were quite thin, but then again, my taste buds don't like delicate flavours. I need an incredible amount of salt, vinegar or butter to enjoy sauces. But this doesn't dampen my enjoyment of lunch. This place has a really lovely atmosphere. It was really busy by 12:30 and you can hear lots of happy chatter and the clinking of cutlery and plates. And it's spectacularly beautiful.
Whenever I'm in a new city, I try and do something historical, something artistic, something weird.
And day roll amalgamates all three. This place was a great find, so thank you to everyone who recommended I come here. This is the taxidermy shop that's been open for about 200 years. I have no idea about the background of these specimens. I hope that they weren't killed specifically for the purpose of taxidermy. And I'd also love to know how old they are and how they ended up at day roll. So if anyone knows about the history of this place, please write in the comments. I'm also traveling between all these places, mainly using the metro, sometimes the bus, and I got a €12 day ticket. The next stop was my fourth stop, which was more oysters at Ostra Paris, including these camembert baked oysters. These were interesting, and more on that later. The next stop is the Musée de Cluny, which was a 5-minute walk away, and I was really hoping to see some of those hideous medieval babies. You know, the babies that look like old men. Or the anthropomorphized dogs, you know, the dogs that look like humans. But there's none of that there. It's really quite earnest and quite touching work, really. My next stop was the Arène de Lutèce, which was only an 11-minute metro journey. My cousin recommended me a really nice place to get crepes, and I had planned on buying one and eating it here in the Arène de Lutèce, but unfortunately the crepe shop was shut when I got there. But it's just a really nice place to hang out anyway. I can imagine the French play lots of boule here in the summer. The antepenultimate stop is oysters at La Coupole, and then onto the Paris catacombs.
Just met our guide. Oh, my French is so bad, I told him I was 300 years old instead of 30.
This guided tour was probably the highlight of the trip. My favourite fact that I learnt is that there are people who live in the catacombs called cataphiles, and there is a section of the Parisian police force who are nicknamed the catacops, whose job it is to try and chase these people out of the catacombs. The tour takes a solid 2 hours. We arrived at 5 PM, and by the time we left at 7, Paris was dark. And as I booked the last train to London that evening, I couldn't miss it, but I thought I'd try and squeeze in a final supper at Brasserie Bélanger, which is a 10-minute walk from the Gare du Nord station. I checked the menu in advance, ordered as soon as I got in, let them know I had a train to catch, and could they please do anything to speed up my order? And they were incredibly accommodating. I was in and out in 25 minutes. And guys, if I'd known then what I know now, I would have dedicated the next 15 minutes to buying French wine to bring back. Because there is no duty-free section after security, aka no opportunity to buy French wine.